Ah, man, wrap it up, folks. That's it. This is all we needed to hear. Because I think for fans of the Montreal Canadiens and of the Vancouver Canucks, we have each dived into a very specific team on the east side that could potentially be, a trade partner? It's the New York Islanders, for crying out loud. Yeah, we've made a bunch of videos about the Isles, and names like Bo Horvat, Noah Dobson, Mathew Barzal, whether or not these guys could be targeted by teams like the Vancouver Canucks or the Montreal Canadiens, obviously the two teams that I cheer for the most. These are always going to be hot topics in these markets because they're very good players, Barzal, Bo, Dobson, and our favorite teams in Vancouver and Montreal could use a little bit of an upgrade. I don't know if you had been paying attention to that. But I wanted to go over an update as to the entire New York Islander situation that was brought to us by what Artyom Basu and Marc-Antoine Gaudin said on the latest edition of their notebook. This was posted by Shogun2909 on the Habs subreddit, echoes from the Canadiens at the NHL Draft Combine, the Basu and Gaudin notebook. And the top comment goes out there and says this. One thing of note here, Marc-Antoine Gaudin said that he had spoken with Matthew Darche, and Darche was very direct about there being no rebuild or retool. He says they have too many good players at good stages of their careers for that. Major players aren't going anywhere for picks or prospects. So it's time everybody gave up on Bo Horvat. And yeah, that's not really surprising. You know, there was an idea floating around that said, okay, Lou Lamoriello, he's in New York, he's an old guy, he's in his 80s, so obviously he's not going to commit to a rebuild. He's probably not going to be able to see his entire vision through if the rebuild path were to be explored. But now that he had gotten the can, and now that Matthew Darche was brought in, Darche, by the way, he's only in his 40s. He's half the age of Lou Lamoriello. Okay, he's not half. He's like a little bit less than half. But still, Matthew Darche is a younger guy. And with the idea that the Islanders were already potentially heading towards that retooling phase with the trade of Brock Nelson, with the acquisition of Callum Ritchie, and with the first overall pick getting granted to them in the draft lottery, you can say that this is a prime opportunity for the Isles to go full rebuild, balls to the wall, and use this first overall pick as a signaling of a new direction. This could mean names like Bo Horvat, Barzal, Dobson, who are in the primes of their careers. It could mean they could all get traded. It could mean the Islanders will stack up on draft picks. They could try to go through this rebuild. But nah. Matthew Darche goes out there and says to Marc-Antoine Gaudin that is not in the cards. No Bo Horvat trade, it seems like. No Dobson trade, it seems like. No Barzal trade, it seems like. And I wanted to use this as an opportunity to talk about Montreal and Vancouver, because obviously, you know, the idea of a Bo Horvat trade to either of these two teams was super intriguing. A lot of Canadiens fans were discussing Bo Horvat as a prime second-line center candidate for the Habs. Vancouver Canucks fans were also saying the same thing, like, hey, if there's an idea tossed out there of Bo Horvat being brought back to Vancouver, that would be a total solving of the Vancouver Canucks issues down the middle. Imagine going from Bo Horvat, JT Miller, and Elias Pettersson to just Miller and Pettersson and Teddy Bluger, and then you get rid of Miller, you get rid of Suter, or he walks in free agency, and then you bring Bo Horvat back. It would be the old carousel of Vancouver Canucks players. And, you know, while it is super fan servicey and fantasy mode GM booking type stuff, I do acknowledge that this Canucks regime has not been afraid to bring names back, like Luke Schenn. I think that's the obvious one that everybody loves to dive into. Bo Horvat would be a very perfect fit for the Vancouver Canucks down the middle. Mathew Barzal, he is technically capable of playing center, but I don't necessarily think he is more suited to that. I think him as a winger is a lot more sustainable. But ultimately, when you think about the Canucks and their options, I mean, Brock's going to leave. Jake DeBrusk is still sticking around. Connor Garland's got a year left. Are these guys all top 6 caliber forwards on a Stanley Cup winning team? You could make the debate, but I don't know really if they are. But in Vancouver, with the team that's assembled right now, they have to be. So there needs to be more, I would say. And so for the Islanders, it doesn't seem like they'll be interested in a first round plus a prospect type of deal. It seems like they are going to be committed to still remaining competitive, capitalizing on the prime years of these assets here. Noah Dobson, man, that guy would have been crazy good too, although I will say, Vancouver doesn't necessarily need more defensemen now, do they? They have a pretty good D-core as it is, and that is including some younger names like Villander, Mancini, and DPD, but for Vancouver, if there are no Islanders available for trade, then I guess Patrick Allvin's going to have to try and get his second-line center elsewhere. Or they might just feel like Filipino is the guy to still come in and take that spot for himself, though I remain skeptical about that possibility. For the Montreal Canadiens, though, it is interesting because a lot of their needs up front are the same as the Vancouver Canucks. It's been kind of weird and repetitive this entire summer so far because it's like, yeah, my Canucks, my Canadiens, and my wings all need second-line centers behind Pettersson, Suzuki, and Larkin. And in Vancouver's case, you could even debate whether or not Pettersson is a first-line center caliber guy. Okay, he should be in that position, but the fact is he hasn't played like that in over a year. So this is why the Bo Horvat discussion has been so constant for Canucks fans. There is a reply that I wanted to go out there and read on the Habs subreddit. It's in response to the Marc-Antoine Gaudin note about Darche. There's a little bit of doubt here, because of course the main comment says that Darche is saying, yeah, we're not going to rebuild. Just to say, Honest Despot says, as a new GM saying that makes a lot of sense because it'll make any offers on them more serious, and signal that they aren't just looking to sell off all valuable vets for picks and prospects. He got the job by telling them they're not going to rebuild, LOL. So already, there is some doubt from Canadiens fans asking whether or not, hey, is Matthew Darche actually being fully transparent here? Is there no rebuild for sure coming in New York? Or could there be a rebuild? Could they be convinced to go down the path of a rebuild if they just get the right picks and prospects coming in exchange in a trade? Who really knows? Do the Islanders want to build the next few years of their team off the backs of Barzal, Dobson, and Horvat? Or do they fully want to commit to Matthew Schaefer being the guy, the big fish, the top dog, the most valuable player, the heart and soul of this Islanders team? It wouldn't be a terrible idea, but hey, there are some valuable guys here in this Islanders squad, so I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about this Islanders trade update? Bo, Barzal, Dobson, they seem to be off the market for now. Do you agree with this sentiment that it's probably for the better, or do you think that they should be in some sort of a trade capacity conversation? There are a number of ways we can go with this discussion, but I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.